Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
Very good evening. Now, the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into Serious Acts of Fraud and Corruption, the report is now out and recommendations have been made. Now, one of the institutions that was subject to investigation was Avant Garde. Now, in its recommendations, the Presidential Commission says that legal action can be taken against 13 people under the Criminal Procedure and also under the Bribery Act. Now, one important point in this report is the Presidential Commission has found 17 weapons not properly or legally registered in the country have been used to train sea marshals for Avant Garde, and the training was done at the Special Task Force base located in Kottakurunda, and that is where the fitness certificates have also been issued for these sea marshals. Now, the Presidential Commission of Inquiry says criminal cases can be filed against this institution known as Avant Garde and its chairman, Nisanka Senadipati. Today, right here with me is human rights activist, attorney at law, Avant Rajapaksa. Good evening. So, one of the key points in this report is that action can be taken against the firearms ordinance. Now, under this ordinance, these individuals, these 13 people mentioned in the report, can't they be arrested?
Yes, why not? In Sri Lanka law, we can arrest all people who possession illegal weapons, especially illegal weapons. We can arrest and we can produce the B reports and produce the magistrate court and institute illegal actions against them.
Right. Now, if you have at least one illegal weapon properly not registered, you will be arrested by the police and you will be produced in court, and thereafter only the B report will be produced. Now, on this point, on Avant Garde, can't the Attorney General act on this immediately?
Yes, Attorney General can action. Presidential Commission recommend to Attorney General to go through this Commission report and take legal actions. And he can give their opinion. He has undervested the Criminal Procedure Code. He has power to give opinion to police department to arrest them and filing B reports and take necessary legal actions.
Now, the change of government was made on the 8th of January 2015, and civil activists played an important role in this change. Now, after this change, the Avant Garde incident was exposed. Now, you exposed there were mercenaries and there were weapons without proper permits. And then Justice Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa also made a very important statement to Parliament, especially on the Avant Garde matter. Let's have a listen to that soundbite from the minister.
මම බොහොම පැහැදිලිව කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයේදී කිව්වා මේ ගනුදෙනුව සම්බන්ධව උපුරණදව්‍ය පනත ගිනියවි ආඥා පනත.
I said very clearly in Cabinet that there is no premise in criminal law to file a case on this transaction considering the Explosives Act, the Firearms Ordinance or the Prevention of Terrorism Act. That is my personal opinion, and as a lawyer I have a right to express that opinion. I expressed this opinion to the President, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. When an opinion was sought from the Attorney General's Department, the Solicitor General, Suhada Gamlat, expressed his opinion, and the Additional Solicitor General Wasantha Navaratna Bandara, who is below him, expressed his opinion. There was a disparity in these two opinions. What did we do then? The Prime Minister said very clearly, you resolve this as it is a problem between two officials, and that we would seek the opinion of the Attorney General, since no matter who in the department expresses an opinion, it becomes his opinion, as everyone there is subject to him. However, eventually, he said the same thing. He said that a case cannot be filed under the Firearms Ordinance, the Explosives Act, or the Prevention of Terrorism Act. However, the Attorney General said this could be examined further for corruption. He said if there is such evidence, a case can be filed, and that this would fall to the Bribery and Corruption Commission and not the Attorney General's department. Later it was said that dollars had come in from overseas, amounting to about 16,000 million. This was all money that came from overseas to our country. 3,500 million of this was paid to the government. Later, the Attorney General ordered the Inspector General of Police to investigate whether an offence had been committed under the Money Laundering Act.
The report of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, when it speaks on the matter of Avant Garde, especially highlights the illegal manner of these weapons that were used by this institution. Now, there are also attempts to bring this under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act as well. For instance, if I may continue on that point, now, Wasantha Nawaratna is a junior in one capacity. Now, senior to him is Suhada Gamlat. But there were statements that Wasantha Nawaratna's recommendations must be disregarded. What happened exactly over there?
Yes, those days that Attorney General Department is under the Rajapaksa. Now firstly that Avant Garde, he always try to protect the Avant Garde company because of he has some I think some connections with Avant Garde's chairman Nishanka Senadipati, and he always try to protect Avant Garde's people. That's why I think that's Soda Gamlat give that kind of opinion, because of he is under the supervision of Rajapaksa. That's why that UMP parliamentarians against them, and he must resign and he go to the with his cabinet portfolio, I think given to the president after that incident.
Indeed. Now, in addition to Avant Garde, another institution in question is Ratna Arakshaka Lanka. Now, over the years, strong statements have been made that employees at Ratna Arakshaka Lanka were used for political campaign purposes of the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa during his administration. Now, when we come to the point again of Avant Garde and Ratna Arakshaka Lanka, the floating armory on the ship Mahanuwara, the mercenaries, foreign mercenaries stationed at various positions, and a large number of illegal weapons were discovered. Now, on the 8th of January 2015, right after the presidential elections, rumor has it that something very interesting happened at Temple Trees. As a civil activist, what exactly happened?
Yes, I think they try to keep the government not take to a new becoming president to become a ruler. They try to keep their ruling with support of army, and I think they use Ratna Lanka people and Avant Garde peoples to they use political campaign in Mahinda Rajapaksa also. Lot of Ratna Lanka people is army peoples. They service part-time to army and part-time to Ratna Lanka. This is the, I think, misappropriation of public funds, very large, huge quantity. I think they use Ratna Lanka and Avant Garde and also army and navy, three forces to conspiracy and to not to give a new president to they are become to a president, and they try to conspiracy in Temple Trees. I think this is the very serious crime against our law.
A strong word you used, conspiracy. So yes. Conspiracy against the state. Now that is a serious incident.
Yes.
Now let's imagine on the 8th of January 2015, the new government came into power. What if none of these weapons were seized, the Mahanuwara vessel was not forced to anchor, and then these mercenaries were not taken into the law? What if none of this happened? What would the situation be now?
They always, that Mahinda Rajapaksa and their supporters always say patriotism, and they try to use some army peoples and some Avant Garde or deserted peoples to, I think there are some illegal weapons in our society they can use to tackle and I think this government, to repel this government, I think.
Now, there are many attempts being made to link this up with money laundering only.
Yes.
Now, then Minister Sagala Watnayaka in 2016, in a statement to Parliament, which is also included in the Hansard, said that the weapons at Ratna Arakshaka Lanka in fact belong to the Sri Lanka Army, Sri Lanka Police and the Sri Lanka Air Force. Now, since this incident was exposed, many elite individuals in the political sphere have come forward making statements protecting Avant Garde and their activities. Now, what is exactly going to happen if these statements are continuously made, if people are trying to protect this institution of which the Presidential Commission itself has said that action must be taken?
So I like that Aloysius, Mr. Nishanka Senadipati spend a lot of money to the politicians and other peoples. Why they try to protect the avant garde, and after that some political leaders want to divide some political parties to use strategies but that strategy has now failed.
The report is now out. The recommendations are made public. We all know what the recommendations are, who is involved and who is not involved, what institution is involved. What action must be taken right now by all law enforcement authorities?
Yes, I think they recommend to file criminal charges. I think Attorney General must give their opinion to file criminal charges against that suspects, that people, I think.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajapaksa, for joining us today here at News First. So, since the 8th of January 2015, the people of this country have been calling to put an end to corruption, fraud and all other malpractices that marred this country for many decades. One thing the people ask is the perpetrators of this incident must be taken before the law and they should be punished. And the people say justice should be served.